Hi everyone, Miss Szymanski here today, and I'm going to be showing you how to make a print in the darkroom using your cell phone. The process that we use to make a print in the darkroom using our cell phones is fairly similar to what we're going to be doing later when we have negatives to make prints with. So this is a good beginning step to introduce you to making prints in the darkroom. For starters, we're going to need to set up our cell phone before we can even bring it into the darkroom to start taking pictures with. The first things that you need to do are, first you're going to need to set up your cell phone to do this process before you can even bring it into the darkroom. You're going to be using a photograph on your cell phone displayed on your screen to make this print. So for starters, you need a way to make that photograph a negative image. If we print from a positive image, then your photograph will come out a little funny looking. I recommend using the Pixlr app. You can download that for free. Using our Pixlr app, we go into Photos, and we're going to pick a photograph to use for this first print. I'm going to scroll down a little bit here until I find an image that I like. So here I have opened a photograph in Pixlr. This is the photograph that I'd like to make a print with, of course. And I'm going to use this button in the middle at the bottom that looks like a white layer on top of a blue layer. This gives me different modes to choose from, sort of like filters. Right now I'm on the first option here, and what you want to do is go to atomic. These are default. What you want to do is go to atomic. Under there you will find an option for negative. That's actually not the option we want. We want a monochrome negative. What this filter has done is made our photograph black and white and inverted it to a negative image. The next step here is to click the check mark, save our image. Up in the top corner here I'm going to click on done. Here is my photograph ready to print. So now I have the photograph that I want to make a print of. I've made that photograph black and white, and I've inverted the colors so I have a negative image. Now we need to mess with a couple settings on your phone to make sure your phone is ready to do this process for us. The first thing you need to do is go to your brightness. I have auto brightness checked. I'm going to turn off auto brightness. Turn your brightness up to 100%. The second thing you're going to need to do is go into your settings. Change your settings so that your screen stays on. If your screen automatically turns itself off after 30 seconds or a minute, it's not going to work out for you. So I'm here under settings. I'm going to go to display and wallpaper, screen timeout, and I don't have an option to never let it turn off, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up to 10 minutes. This is a Samsung. It's going to be different on every phone. It's a different option on the iPhones. Now I'm going to go back to my photograph in Pixlr and make sure it's the size I want. I'm going to leave it the size that it is. Now I'm ready to take this print into the darkroom. The last thing you're going to want to do before you bring your cell phone in the darkroom is drop it on the ground, is put it into airplane mode. If you get a message or a phone call or an email or anything while you're printing in the darkroom, a window will pop up on your screen while you're printing and it's going to ruin your image. So go ahead and turn your phone to airplane mode so that you can't get any interruptions on your phone while you're doing this process in the darkroom. Now we're ready to bring the phone into the darkroom and make our print. Okay, here I am in the darkroom. I'm going to show you how I'm going to set up my enlarger before I turn the lights off. Go ahead and lift up the enlarger head. This is our negative tray. You can take that right out and set it off to the side. We're not going to need that for this assignment. Your phone instead is going to go into that enlarger. You'll be needing the mat board, so you can set that aside nearby. And your paper tray here, you're going to want to start to get it situated underneath where your photo is going to be. Let's turn the lights off and get printing. Okay, here we are in the darkroom. We're ready to get started. First thing I'll need to do is place my phone into the enlarger. Our enlarger head is up right now so that I can put my phone in there. I'm going to pull up my image. There it is. My screen brightness is all the way up. I set all of that stuff before I brought my phone in the darkroom. My phone is going to sit just like this into the enlarger head. And now you can see when I place my phone in there, there is my image being projected through. It's a little dull right now, so we're going to do a couple other things to it. First, I need to use the handle here to lower the enlarger head very gently on top of your phone. It's not going to crush your phone. So my phone is in there nice and snug. It's not going to move around. Next thing I need to do is adjust my lens here. If you turn it one direction, your image gets really dark. Turn it the other direction so your image is as bright as it can possibly be. Now I need to focus. There's two side knobs on the enlarger. One tightens the enlarger head so that we can raise it up and down. You might need to resize your image, so do that first. Resize your image until it fits properly within this rectangle here of your picture frame. Then adjust the other knob, the focus knob, until your image appears to come into focus. Mine is still a little bit big, so I'm going to size it down a little bit more and adjust the focus again. Get in real close until I can see that it's focused, and that looks pretty good. Now my phone is in the enlarger, it's set up and ready to take a photograph. This step gets a little tricky. I need to be able to put my paper down right here without letting it get exposed to the phone light until I'm ready to print my image. That's where this little loop comes in handy. I'm going to slide this over, take my piece of mat board, place it right under there. There's a little bit of light coming through, but I should be able to safely put my paper down into this paper carrier without exposing it to the light too much. Over to your paper boxes, and to start with, you're going to get a paper from this box, test strips. A test strip is a single strip of photo paper. We're going to use this to tell us how long this paper needs to be exposed to the light in order to get a proper photograph. All I do is set my test strip down here in the picture frame, and now I'm going to use this mat board to make a test strip. Here's how we do a test strip. We're going to print each section of this paper for about 2 seconds. I need to do a real quick little switch over to bring my mat board from up here down here to cover my paper. Now my paper is covered. I'm going to start moving the mat board over slowly to reveal sections of paper for 2 seconds at a time. And you'll just count this. If you listen carefully, you might be able to hear the clocks ticking in the background, and you can use that to help you get an accurate time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Quickly cover your test strip back up when you finish that 10 seconds. You don't want to expose that test strip any longer than the 10 seconds that you did. Quickly move that mat board back up to cover your spot. Get your test strip out of there. Let's take it over and develop it. As you can see, I've processed this test strip through the developer, the stop bath, and then I agitated it in the fixer for 30 seconds. Remember, after 30 seconds, it's safe to bring your print or your test strip out into the light to check it, but it needs to go back into the fixer for the remaining 2 minutes in order for it to remain fixed and safe to the light. As you can see, this test strip shows a gradient. It's lighter over here, getting progressively darker over here. If I did this well, you should be able to see the dividing lines where my mat board sat. The first section of my paper I exposed for 2 seconds. That's the lightest section. Then I exposed it for 4 seconds, 6, 8, all the way up until 10. Looking at my test strip very closely, I can see that 10 seconds looks pretty good, but Porter might appear a little bit too dark. Even at 8 seconds, I can't really see any definition. He's just the solid black mass. So I'm going to try to print for 6 seconds and see how that comes out. Remember, anytime you bring a wet photo out of the darkroom, it needs to be in a tray. So I checked my test strip. 6 seconds looked to be a good time to print this photograph. I haven't changed anything except that my screen has turned off. So I'm very gently going to get back in here and turn the screen back on. Check the positioning of my camera, make sure that it is sitting in the right spot so that my photograph fits in my paper tray. My screen is on. I'm not going to adjust the focus or anything else here. I'm just recentering my photo. So my photograph is ready to print, and I know that 6 seconds gets me a photograph that looks the way I want it to look. Using my mat board, I'm going to cover that light again. Now I'm going to go to the 5x7 box and get one piece of 5x7 photo paper. There's going to be a lot of cell phones in the darkroom during this time, so it's important that you take some care handling your photo paper. Leave your paper face down whenever you set it down on a table to help prevent it from being exposed to light. When you're transporting your paper, hold it against your body to help keep the surface of the paper from being exposed by someone's cell phone light. I'm ready to place my paper into the photo tray. Remember that the emulsion side needs to be facing up. That's the shiny side. Without moving this paper carrier, I'm going to lift it, slide my paper in, and align it with these notches. Shiny side is up. I place this paper carrier back down. I'm ready to expose my photograph for the 6 seconds that I determined from looking at my test strip. I'm going to remove the mat board, count to 6, and quickly replace the mat board so that I don't overexpose my print. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Quickly replacing. Now I'm ready to print this photograph. Remove it from the paper carrier, quickly holding it against my body while I transport it so I don't accidentally catch light from someone else's cell phone. And as a courtesy to others, turning my screen back off quickly so that I don't also expose their paper. I'm going to go put this paper through the developer, the stop, and the fix, and I'll show you the finished result. After 30 seconds in the fixer and a quick wash, I've placed my photograph in a tray so that I can show you how it turned out. As you can see, I have a nice clean border around the edges that's telling me that I placed my paper into the paper carrier correctly. Here my photograph has come out a little bit lighter actually than I expected it to, but that's because this isn't a perfect process. I'm counting, and I may have counted a little bit faster this time than I did when I was making the test strip, but it's still a very good print. You can see all of the highlights and shadows and definition in the body of the dog. You can see the waves. The background's a little bit blown out, that means it's too bright, but my subject is nice and clear, so I'm going to call this a good photograph. If I wanted to, I could go back, print another photograph for about a second or two longer, and see which one I liked better. I might still like this one better. A second or two might be a little bit too long, but you can experiment with your times and see what works best. And that is how you make a cell phone print in the darkroom.